Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would film a breastfeeding video, just basically a video of my breastfeeding experience, talking about what kind of went wrong, what I wish I did differently, and just my whole journey in general. Hopefully this video helps, possibly give maybe some advice to a mum who is soon going to be breastfeeding or who is currently breastfeeding, or maybe this will just be for your entertainment, I don't know. But yeah, I guess let's just jump straight into it. I really don't know where to start. I guess we will just broadly say, we'll give a bit of a broad overview. I started breastfeeding from the moment Kaylani was born, and she was breastfed up to her last feed was the day before she turned 6 months old. So at least I can say I'm very proud of that I was able to make it to 6 months. However, she was not exclusively breastfed. She had her first bottle probably around a month old, maybe even younger. And over time, she slowly had more and more formula. But I'll get more into that as we dive into this video. But yeah, she is now 100% on formula. It is not my first choice and it does make me a little sad, but I mean, she is getting fed, she is healthy. Do I wish I did things differently? Yes, but I can look forward to my next child and correcting and tweaking those things to have a better breastfeeding experience in the future. I guess that's a positive way to put it. Also, I wanted to put a disclaimer out there. I'm not trying to shame anyone. You know, if you choose to breastfeed your baby or if you've chosen to formula feed your baby from birth, whatever you choose is best for your baby. I mean, everyone's situations are different. I understand that breastfeeding can also be very hard mentally. I mean, it is hard in general mentally, but you know, I do know that some people can experience like depression. And I mean, I don't want to get too much into it because I don't know the facts. But there's a whole lot of hormonal stuff that goes on with breastfeeding, and it can actually make it very, very difficult mentally for some women to breastfeed. So sometimes it's better for their mental health to stop. So yeah, I'm just making that disclaimer. I'm not putting any judgments on anyone. This is just my journey, my preferences, my opinions. So anyways, I guess the biggest thing I've struggled with is my milk supply. And now looking back, honestly, I think that I had a completely fine milk supply. We started giving Kaylani an evening bottle because she was crying and crying and crying, and looking back at it, I think it was probably just witching hour. She was probably just being a newborn baby and just crying, and then we would give her a bottle and it would calm her and make her happy. So we thought that she was hungry, but actually now looking back at it, we probably gave her the bottle and obviously she drank it because it was milk, and then she just got over full and would calm down. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's kind of my theory now. So looking back, I'm actually thinking that I probably did have a really good milk supply, but we gave her a bottle and, you know, thought that, you know, she must have been hungry. And it was also difficult because I had other people around me telling me, oh yeah, she's just hungry, like she just needs she just must need that bottle, she just must need more milk. So yeah, that's just my theory now looking back on it. So I do kind of regret starting to give her formula, because once I started giving her formula, over time, my milk supply started to drop and she would have more and more bottles, especially coming up in the later months. I also did a lot of pumping, but I personally think that because everyone's boobs react differently to pumps, and some women can get a lot of breast milk out from a pump and some women can't, and I actually struggle to get a lot out when it comes to pumping. So, I mean, I was pumping on a regular basis, but up until 6 months, but I just wasn't, it wasn't doing the same thing as breastfeeding. I don't really know how to explain that, but I'm just trying to point out that I was pumping quite a lot, and I didn't enjoy it at all. You know, I went through a manual pump and then an electric pump. I also had a haka that I used quite often, and I just struggled. Once I gave that first bottle, I just struggled to keep up my milk supply, and it just started going downhill. So I basically, what I'm trying to say is that I judged Kaylani's cries by me thinking that she was hungry, whereas I think she was just being a newborn baby and crying. I shouldn't have judged my milk supply on that, because you're supposed to judge it on like how many wet nappies they have and a whole bunch of other things that I'm not going to say because I'm not even 100% sure like what is fact and what's not. But you're supposed to like judge your milk supply on things like that. So, and also now looking back at it, like back on those early months, I had a huge supply. Like if she didn't feed for 4 hours, like my boobs were huge, and like my milk supply was fine. I was just a paranoid first time mum. Babe, I need to get this done.
Hold up, you need to get Vegeta in here.
Who?
Vegeta! Don't you see the hairstyle? Vegeta.
Go away, I want to get this done. Sorry about that. What was I saying? Yeah, I was just being a paranoid first time mum. And I don't judge myself for that because it's all a learning journey. Another thing is that I wish that I woke Kaylani throughout the night to eat, because ever since she was born, she just wanted to sleep, especially at nighttime. Like those first few days, like in the maternity unit, we had to wake her like every 3 or 4 hours to feed her. And then when we got home, she adjusted very quickly to sleeping throughout the night. I think from 3 days old, she would wake up once in the night, and then by the time she was a few weeks old, she was sleeping through the whole night. So I actually do kind of wish that I was waking her up through the night to encourage that regular feeding, because I know there's many benefits of that, and it would have also helped my milk supply. And I also remember that probably from about a month old or something, when she would wake up at like 4 a.m, I would give her her dummy, and then she would sleep again until 7. And like looking back on that, like at the time I told myself, oh, well, if I can give her her dummy and if she sleeps for another few hours, then she's clearly not hungry. But looking back on that, I disagree with that. And I wish that if I wasn't even waking her up to feed her, then that one time that she was waking up, I should have been more eager to get her fed instead of encouraging her to sleep through the night and get to sleep. So these are just some of the things that I would have done differently. Also, I slightly regret, she actually had a bottle probably like within her first week of being born, because I had really sore nipples, and then I just pumped and like bottle fed her for a few days just to give my nipples a break. But I regret doing that, because as painful as it was, I just wish I pushed through and just scratched the whole bottle entirely. Not that there's anything wrong with the bottle, but personally, I just wish I did that. Like I touched base on pumping wise, I have spent a lot of time pumping. I've done a lot of power pumping, and it just didn't work wonders for me. I've also tried lactation supplements like cookies and drinks, and I actually think that those did help to a degree, but I also don't think that they're necessary. I've also made at-home lactation cookies. So I'm guessing what I'm trying to say is for future children, I probably won't bother buying lactation cookies and drinks. I mean, I may, but I just don't think that they're that necessary, and you can get a lot cheaper options if you want to supplement yourself, or give yourself that food that does help with lactation. Like there's just cheaper ways of doing that. However, the lactation station, I loved their drinks, their caramel and chocolate drinks. I probably actually will get those in the future because they were just so yum. But like, for example, the cookies are like $12 a packet. It's like, it worked out to be like $3 or something, I can't even remember, a cookie. And like I was eating like 4 a day. Like I'd go through a packet in like 3 days. It was a bit ridiculous. So anyways, breastfeeding has also been, it's been an emotional journey. I've got a bit of an attachment to it. I do find that I love bonding with Kaylani in that way, and I'm very sad that I'm not going to experience that again with her. Our last breastfeed was like bittersweet because it was the last one we'd ever have. So it was sad, but I just enjoyed every moment of it. And I just love when your baby is feeding and then they're just like looking up with you and like touching your face with their hand. It's just honestly the most beautiful thing ever. So come recently, we got to a point, she was probably about 5 months old. And I was just so sick and over pumping, just trying to up my milk supply. And I just wasn't upping it. So in the end, I was like, screw this. I'm not going to pump anymore. So I completely stopped pumping. And my supply just started dropping and dropping and dropping because I hadn't established that good milk supply earlier on, because she started getting bottles earlier on. I feel like I'm rambling so much in this video. I hope it's making sense. So I stopped pumping and my milk supply dropped, and she slowly had more and more formula, and then she was probably 5 months, a couple weeks, I'm not too sure. Maybe, yeah, around 5 months old, and probably 5.5 months old. She had a day where she had no boob all day and bottles all day because my supply had dropped that much, and I was heartbroken. Absolutely heartbroken. I felt like such a failure of a mother. I think that there is a lot of pride that comes with breastfeeding, and yeah, I just felt like a complete failure. So it gave me that extra motivation and boost to do everything in my power to try get my milk supply back. And keep in mind, this is when I'm almost 6 months postpartum, and like I've got like almost nothing. So I started pumping for like 2 weeks, maybe almost 2 weeks. I pumped 10 to 12 times a day. I ate lactation cookies. I was keeping well hydrated. I wasn't stressing about my milk supply because, you know, stress can affect that. I was basically just doing everything I could to get it back, and I couldn't. Like I said before, pumping just doesn't really work for me, and maybe the fact that I was already 6 months postpartum had an effect on that. But yeah, I was just getting bare minimum, and it was exhausting pumping that many times a day just to get like enough for like 1 bottle for Kaylani to have a day. Keeping in mind that, you know, I'm 6 months postpartum, like I'm studying, I'm going to the gym, like Kaylani isn't sleeping as much as a newborn, obviously, like we're up playing and doing things, and it's just hard to squeeze in 10 to 12 pumping sessions a day when your lifestyle is like that, especially when you're not really getting much from it. Like I was literally getting like 1 bottle for her a day. So in the end, I just let go. I was like, look, I've done everything in my power to try correct the mistakes I've made, but it's just too late. I could have, booked in a session with a lactation consultant. I actually did speak with one over the phone, just one of the free Plunket ones. So I really did everything I could. I could have, like I said, gone to have a proper meeting, blah, 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 create a plan with a lactation consultant. But like, you'd have to pay like $100 to $200 for those. And I know in the end, I probably would have saved money instead of buying all this formula. But at the end of the day, I did pretty much everything in my power to save my milk supply, correct my mistakes I made in the past, but it just didn't work out that way. So I have officially let go of breastfeeding. Kaylani has been 100% on formula for almost 2 weeks now, and she's happy as ever, so that's what matters. I've definitely moved on from it. I was very upset and still am a little upset about it, but it is what it is, and I've kind of just let it go. So she is on Abdomal Gold. That's her 3rd formula she's tried when she was younger. We tried just the like Heinz brand, and she tried Carry Care, and her tummy didn't agree with either of those, especially the Carry Care. She badly reacted to that. Not saying that your child would or will. So we have been using Abdomal Gold for majority of her life now. So she's 100% on that, and she loves it. She absolutely loves her bottle. It's the best thing ever. Towards the end of our breastfeeding journey, when she was mostly on formula, she actually preferred her formula over breast milk. I don't know why, because wouldn't breast milk be sweeter? I don't know. But that's what she's on, and she's happy, and she's healthy, and she's super chunky. So yeah, I guess that concludes this video. That is my breastfeeding journey. I might have missed things, but oh well. Those are the things that I'm going to correct for my next time breastfeeding. I definitely am going to aim to exclusively breastfeed next time round, especially now that I have so much more knowledge and information. It's hard when you're a first-time mum, and before Kaylani was born, I didn't take any breastfeeding classes because mine got cancelled because of COVID, so I knew nothing about what I was doing, but I'm definitely more prepared for the next child. So yeah, I'd like to exclusively breastfeed, and I'd like to breastfeed till probably at least a year, like really as long as possible. So hopefully next time round it's a bit more of a success. But yeah, I guess that concludes today's video. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope that you gained something from this video or got a little bit entertained. I don't know. But if you are a mama out there and you're struggling with breastfeeding, just remind yourself that you are doing the best job that you can. And I mean, any bit of breast milk is better than none at the end of the day. You're doing amazing, mamas, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.